So we're going to go on to the ledger now. On this side I've got my general journal, and over here I've got my ledger. You're only required to do 3 different accounts, and all 3 accounts appear in the owner's equity section. So let's head up owner's equity. So I'm going to I'm just looking for a button that, okay, there it is there, merge. Okay. So headed up owner's equity, and the first account is going to be the capital account. Ben, do you want to come work next to me? Then work. Okay, capital account. I'd leave about 5 rows blank, and then we'll go to the drawings account. And then about 4 lines blank, it doesn't really matter. And then the P&L summary account. You just have to fast forward through that section. Okay, the capital account and drawings account commence with a balance. The capital account starts with a balance, and if we go to the exercise spreadsheet, it tells me that on the 30th of June, the balance in the capital account was $54,425. So I need to record that in the ledger's account. So I have to show that I understand what to do with that. So in the balance, I'm going to bring across the $54,425. Now it's a capital account, so that's going to have a credit balance. So we'll put in the date June 30, and we call it balance. In the drawings account on June 30, we don't call it balance, but we call it entries to date. You only call it balance if the account has a balance in it at the beginning of the accounting period. Drawings gets closed off at the end of every accounting period. So we have entries to date, and the entries to date for drawings is $1,000. And that's a debit balance because drawings represents a decrease in your owner's equity. I don't put 54,425 in the credit column here because it doesn't represent a double entry. It's just how much is in that account. That represents a double entry during the period. Okay.
Where it says balance, do you need to get the same amount in credit as well? Do you know how you've got in entries to
No, don't put one in. You don't do that for balances. All right, so in the general journal then, what you do basically is you scan down, after you've put those 2 amounts in from the exercise, work your way down the general journal looking for either the account capital or P&L summary. And there's P&L summary there. P&L summary credit, 54,200. So in the P&L summary account, let's record the date, June 30. And the account is going to be credited by 54,200, but I'm not going to put just 54,200. I want to know the individual amounts that made up the 54,200. So in the credit column, I'm going to insert the formula E equal to, and I'll bring in the first amount, which is 50,000. Copy down to include the 2,000 because that's the last amount. And then in the particulars column, I want to bring across the accounts that correspond to those individual amounts, because the rule in the ledger is, in a ledger account, you credit the account. In the particulars column, you write the other account affected, the debit account affected. So let's bring that across. Yes, Tom? Yep. Okay. Balance. Let's work out the balance. So after that first entry, the balance is 50,000 and it's a credit balance. The balance in the next, after the next entry, will increase. So it's 50,000 plus 1950. Now I can just copy that formula down and it should increase the amount each time. So you don't have to do each one individually. Do it once and then copy the formula down.
You always have a formula for 50,000.
It just equals that. Okay, so I'll give you time to catch up with that. And most of you have done that, which is excellent. Now we need to continue scanning down the general journal. So we've just put in the P&L summary there. So let's keep going. And here's the next entry, and it says P&L summary debit 24,875. Okay, so in the debit column, let's bring in the first individual amount that comprises that 24,875. And it's 18,750. So let's bring in that amount and copy down using a formula. Yes, Robert?
Yes, I think you said this before, but why is there the 1,000 in the debit column next to entries today? Like, why don't we just go like balance? How does no imagery next to it?
Up here, yeah, I've said this 3 times, but that's okay. I'll say it the 4th. It could have been twice. Anyway. The capital account doesn't close at the end of every accounting period. June 30, last year, this account had 54,425 in it. That's how much it starts with at the beginning of the next accounting period. So capital accounts, asset accounts, liability accounts, at the end of the accounting period, June 30, they have a balance in their accounts. The very next day, it's the exact same balance that they start with. Drawings account, though, at the end of every accounting period, it gets closed off. It doesn't have a balance the next accounting period. It has nothing in it the next accounting period. It's ready, it's empty, waiting to collect all of the drawings information for that year. And then at the end of that year, it gets closed off to capital. So because it doesn't have a balance from one accounting period to the next, we call that entries to date. So the reason why I don't have a debit figure there is because that is not representative of a double entry. But that is. Or, sorry, a credit entry. The reason why I don't have a credit entry there is because that's not representative of a credit balance. Did I misunderstand what you were asking me?
I just sort of why we should that the debit column did just leave like entries today as just 1,000, like why we said this. Oh, is it because we're only doing, I don't know,
You sure?
yeah, I think it's because
Okay. All right, so we're going to debit the P&L summary account for 24,875, but I want to show all of the individual amounts that comprise that 24,875, just like we did with the credit column, with the credit accounts here. So I bring each one in individually, bring in their respective accounts. The last one should be sales returns. And now let's update the balance. The balance is a credit balance in the account. I'm now debiting the account, so I want to decrease it. So that equals that balance minus 18,750. Oops, do that formula again. That minus that. And then I should be able to just copy that straight down. But it remains a credit balance all the way along because I don't credit it for greater than its balance. And that should equal the profit that I calculated in the general journal. And does it? Yes, it does. So that's a check for you. Okay, moving on then. We've done this entry. Now we go back to the general journal, looking for all the times it says P&L summary, capital or drawings. And here it is, the next one. P&L summary debit 29,325. Okay, so here's my P&L summary account. I'm going to debit it by that amount. The account that was credited by that was capital. And the effect that will have on my balance is to reduce it to 0. So that account is now closed for the accounting period. Now I want to complete this line here. Capital is credited because we need to do the capital account as well. So I go up to capital. I'm going to credit it by 29,325. The account that was debited by that double entry was P&L summary. The balance of the account now has increased to 83750, and that's a credit balance. Any questions about that double entry posting? Next one, capital debit, drawings credit. Okay, so in my capital account, I debit the capital account by 1,000. What was credited with that double entry? And it was drawings, so I bring that across into the account in the particulars column. I have a credit balance in my capital account, so that will decrease with this $1,000 entry. So I take that away. It's still a credit balance though. So now I'm going to drawings credit 1,000. So I credit drawings for 1,000. What was debited? Capital. That now has a 0 balance in it, in drawings. Because we want to transfer drawings out of capital, so it should have nothing in it. Any questions?
I missed that last week.
Which bit was that?
The capital is at that one.
This here?
No, the bottom.
This one here? Well, it's this line here, Nicholas. Drawings credit 1,000.
Oh yeah, I got that. Oh, yeah, right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's all good.
And that, boys, is the ledger. That's as much as you need to do. So I'll just stop this.